I am going to now turn the page on the nouns and pronouns, and I want to make another one of those charts. So again, I will do the top line, the bottom line, connect those two lines, and then a skinny column, and split the other two columns equally. Let's divide off the header row and label our chart. So remember, here we put the parts of speech. Here we did purpose and type. And here we did examples. And our next part of speech is the adjective. The purpose of an adjective is to describe a noun. So adjectives go with nouns or pronouns. Occasionally you have an adjective that describes a pronoun, because remember, pronouns can take the place of nouns. Adjectives answer three questions. They tell me what kind, which one, and how many. So these three questions go with adjectives. So for example, what kind could be big or small. They can also be proper, which means they're capitalized. For example, American, or French, German, Italian, Mexican, Canadian. All of those are proper adjectives that tell me what kind. So for example, a big cake, a small child, an American flag. What kind? Which one? This one you could almost interchange with what kind. You could say big, small, and American. Tell which one. But some other examples would be tall, the tall tree, not the short tree. Short would be an adjective. Round, square. The round plate instead of the square plate. That's telling me which one. And then 70 would tell how many. 2. You could also use words like many there to tell how many. Many, few, little. Those are all adjectives, or they can be adjectives. The tricky thing about English is that words can be different parts of speech. For example, let me see if I can find the word pencil that we used as a noun. That can be a thing. Pencil is a thing that I hold in my hand. It can also be something that I do. If I pencil in the answers to my test, it's a synonym for write. So different words, or one word, can be used in different ways in the English language. And in my opinion, that's one reason English can be so hard. It's hard to identify the part of speech if you're not very familiar with the language. The position of the word will tell you a lot about what part of speech it is. And as we get into some sentences, you'll start to see patterns in English. English is full of patterns. And if you can learn those patterns, you can learn how to break down the language. But for now, I'm going to leave the adjectives right there. Again, we don't want to get into a college level study. We're just doing an introduction to these words. The next one I want to tell you about is as important as a noun. A sentence is made when you put a noun with a verb. So verbs are the other backbone of the language. If you have a noun and a verb, you have a sentence as long as they make sense and agree. But you must have a subject and a verb. You can use a noun or a pronoun, but you have to have a verb in your sentences. So verbs are very important. And verbs do two things. They express action or state of being. And there are a few types of verbs. There is an action verb, which shows action. For me personally, these were always the easiest of the verbs to find. Words like drive, write, dance, sing, think, eat. Those are all action words, action things that we do. But here again, the word dance can also be a noun if you're talking about a particular type of dance. So just because the word fits in the verb category doesn't mean that it's only a verb. You could use dance recital as a phrase, and then dance becomes an adjective that tells what kind of recital. So don't think that just because I write it in the verb category that it can only be a verb. These words can be used in lots of different ways. A linking verb. Some of those are am, is, are, was, were, feel. A linking verb links, it bridges a noun or pronoun to an adjective. And let me give you an example of what I mean by this. And this time I'm going to use a phrase. I need to give you more than just one word so you can see how this works. David, we'll just use a sentence. David is tall. There's a sentence. It has a subject, David, a verb, is, and we need that word tall to make the sentence make sense. So here is your linking verb. Oh, sorry, I thought I had my highlighter. There's your linking verb, is. So ask yourself, what is it linking? It's linking David to tall, that word that describes David. David is a noun. Tall is an adjective. It tells me what kind of man David is. You see that that linking verb is holding those two together. This is a very common pattern in the English language. If you have one of these verbs, and there are others, but these are the main ones. If that verb is sitting right there, look for the noun and the adjective that are linked together. Here's another example. Let's use one with a pronoun. I feel ill. Okay, there's the linking verb feel. And I know that because I've memorized that. In 7th grade, I memorized my linking verbs. It links the pronoun I to a descriptor. So I is a pronoun, but that's okay. Remember, pronouns take the place of nouns. Ill tells me how I'm feeling, or it describes me. Adjective. I feel ill. The linking verb is holding that pronoun to that adjective. Very common pattern in English. And then the last type of verb I want to tell you about is a helping verb. And a helping verb will be used to help an action verb. There are 22 helping verbs, and I'm going to give them to you right now. I memorized these two. Some of them are the ones that you saw in the linking section, but remember, these words can change places. They're not always one type of word. Am, is, are, was, and were. You help me count them. There are 5 of them. Have, has, had. Do, does, did. And that should bring us to 11. Let's stop and count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. May, might, must. So there's 12, 13, 14. Can, shall, will. 15, 16, 17. Could, would, and should. I'm missing one, guys. Am, is, are, was, were. Oh, I'm missing 2. Be and been. This should be our 22. Let me count them and see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yes, those are the helping verbs. And in another video, we will look at what that means. What does it actually mean to be a helping verb? But in this video, I am just giving you an example of what we need. So, later on, I'll show you exactly how these work to change verb tense. So, I think that's everything on verbs. Let me think just a second. Yes, we will study the tense in different videos, present, past, future, all those. So I think I'm going to leave that right here for the verbs. And I'm going to stop this video because I'm at the bottom of the page. I will see you back for the next video, and we'll pick up with adverbs.